Let's continue with type of covalent bond, that is sigma bond and pi bond. We know over means whenever we are talking about the overlapping, depending on the type of overlapping, the covalent bonds are divided into two, that is called as sigma bond and pi bond. First, let's have discussion on sigma bond. What do you mean by sigma bond first? So when a bond is formed between two atoms by the overlap of their atomic orbital along the internuclear axis, that is end to end or head on overlap. Okay, so the bond formed is called to be a sigma bond. So here whenever we are talking about the sigma bond, always the overlapping is to be take place, it is to be head to head. Okay, if sidewise overlapping will be there, it do not form sigma bond. So for formation of sigma bond, the overlapping should be head to head. So the overlapping along the internuclear axis can take place in any of the following way. First, it may be SS overlapping, it may be SP overlapping, or it may be PP overlapping. So let's first discuss about the SS overlapping. Look at the structure also. Here we have SS orbital. Whenever the SS orbital come closer to each other, they are going to overlapping will takes place and they are going to form bond. That is covalent bond, isn't it? Because overlapping will takes place for covalent bond only. So this type of overlapping takes place between atom having half filled s orbital in their outermost energy shell, because fully filled orbital they never come closer to each other and they are not going to form bond because of the repulsion. Okay, that we have discussed for helium. Helium is not going to make bond. Why? Because of the more repulsive force as compared to the attractive force. Okay, that's why bond is not going to form. But whenever any of the bond is formed, like here we are talking about SS overlapping, so here both the orbitals should have half filled electron. If all the electron is filled, it means it is taken as complete filled, so they are not going to take part in the reaction. That's why here the orbital should be half filled. Okay, so for example, here for the formation of hydrogen molecule like H2, 1s orbital of hydrogen atom overlap with 1s orbital of other hydrogen atom, thus forming a sigma bond. Okay, next we will have sp overlapping. In case of sp overlapping, what happen here? Half field of s orbital of an atom overlap with the half field of p orbital of an atom. Okay, simple example of this we can take like for the formation of hydrogen fluoride. Like hydrogen fluoride, here for hydrogen we have only s orbital, because the electronic configuration of hydrogen is what? That is 1s1. So hydrogen has only one orbital, and for this one we have fluorine, and for fluorine means it means that configuration of this one is what? 2s2 and 2p5. Okay, because it has 9 atomic number of fluorine is 9, so 1 is 2, 2 is 2 and 2p5. So it means here p orbital is also present, so that's why hydrogen overlap with 2pz orbital of fluorine, because when we see the shape of the orbital, p orbital, it has three type of shape that they are going to show. See here, it is x-axis because it is present in all the coordinate, so it has x-axis and y-axis and z-axis. So whenever we are having z-axis, only z-axis is going to, or pz is going to overlap with s, then only sigma bond is going to form, because px and py do not have the ability to show the head to head overlapping with s. That's why here the overlapping between s and p takes place, and p, that is pz, is going to take part for the formation of sigma bond. Okay, now we have pp overlapping. In this type of overlapping, it occurs when p orbital of one atom overlap with the p orbital of other, as in case of fluorine molecule. Okay, like if we are having the electronic configuration of fluorine, it is what? It is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p5. So if we are means distributing the electron into p orbital, so p is having px, py and pz. It means px is getting 2 electron, py is also getting 2 electron, and pz is going to have only 1 electron. That's why this pz is going to take part. Okay, because pz is going to overlap with the another pz, because here we are taking two fluorine, bonding between fluorine takes place, and for fluorine is going to make molecule. Okay, so pz of one fluorine is going to overlap with the pz of another fluorine, and the bond is going to form. Okay, like same for chlorine, same for bromine. So these are all about the sigma bond. Now let's move towards the pi bond. Pi bond is formed by the sideway overlapping of p orbital. Okay, that is by overlapping of p orbital in a direction at right angle to the internuclear axis. Here, with the help of some examples, see, look at the structure. Here also we are having p orbital. This p orbital, it is px, and when we have one more structure of p, that is whenever it is present in the z axis it is taken as pz, or for x axis it is px, and whenever we are having y it is little bit in between the x and z. That already we have discussed in the previous chapter, shape of s, p and d. Okay, shape of p is what? Dumbbell shape. So these things you people have to remember, then only you came to understand about these all things. So pi bond is formed between atom unless accompanied by sigma bond. Like if you will be taking example of pi bond in case of oxygen, where the electronic configuration of oxygen is what? It is 1s2, 2s2, 2p 2p5, sorry 2p4, because atomic number of this one is what? It is 6. 6 is for what? Carbon is 6, I think. Okay, sorry, it is 8. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1 and 2pz1. So the two atoms are held together by one sigma and one pi bond. We know that oxygen and oxygen combine with one another by what? By double bond. So here, because py is also having one electron on that and pz is also having one electron on that, so whenever the combination takes place or intermixing takes place between y and y orbital, that is py and py, pi bond is going to form, and for the pz and pz, sigma bond is going to form. So one is sigma and another one is pi bond, and then the bond that is formed between oxygen, it is double bond. Okay. Same in case of nitrogen also, we can take example like nitrogen. Here the configuration of nitrogen is what? It is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. It means all x, y and z, it is having one electron on that. So x and y, they are going to intermix with x and y only, so they are going to form pi bond, but z is going to make sigma bond. So in case of nitrogen we have triple bond, one bond that is sigma bond and two bond is called as pi bond. Okay, so these are all about the pi bond. Now let's move to the strength of sigma and pi bond. So the strength of bond, it depends upon the extent of overlapping, how extent the overlapping is. Okay, so since in the formation of sigma bond, overlapping is along the internuclear axis, so therefore there is considerable overlapping takes place, and then the sigma bond is strong bond. Whereas when we are talking about the pi bond, it is formed, how it is formed? It is formed by the sidewise overlapping. Because of this one only they are going to form. So here the extent of overlapping is less as compared to the sigma bond. That's why pi bond is taken as the weaker bond as compared to sigma bond. Okay, and whenever we are talking about the symmetry of sigma and pi electron cloud, so here it is also very important aspect about the sigma and pi bond. Whereas in case of sigma bond, the electron cloud is symmetrical about the internuclear axis, but in case of pi bond it is unsymmetrical. Okay, being more concentrated above the above and below the plane of the atomic nuclei. When you will see the structure, it will be more clear to you people. You are having NCERT book, so kindly please go through the NCERT book. All the structure is given there. Now difference between sigma and pi bond already we have done. So let's start with the hybridization, which is very important topic. With the help of this hybridization, we will be able to know how any of the orbital is going to overlap or intermix with one another. So we know that VSEPR theory is able to explain the shape of simple molecule, but it is unable to predict the exact shape in a number of cases. Okay, so direction of electron pair doesn't seem to be very rational. So it was only with the advent of VBT, that is valence bond theory, that the shape of molecule could be explained more accurately, isn't it? So according to the valence bond theory, a covalent bond is what it is formed by the overlap of half-filled atomic orbital that we have done till means now only. Okay, so this direction of overlap give the direction of the bond. So in applying this thing into the theory, a difficulty was faced in a number of cases. So to means as a covalent bond is formed by the overlap of half filled orbital, so covalency of the element should be equal to the number of half filled orbital present in the atom. Okay, so on the basis of this concept, the formation of many compound as beryllium, boron and carbon could not be explained. So for this one, there is need to know something more about that. So to overcome from this problem, it was suggested that one pair electron become unpaired and jump to an empty orbital without consuming excessive energy. So for this one, we are going to discuss about the hybridization to see the more accurate structure of molecule. Okay, so first we will define hybridization. What do you mean by hybridization? With the help of this only, I will be explaining all these things related to hybridization. So hybridization is what? It is the intermixing of different orbital having slightly different energies. Slightly different, it is said. If there is difference in the energy, very large difference, then it is not possible for the electron to jump from one shell to another shell. Okay, so because of the slightly difference in energy, it gives an identical shape and equal energy, that is called as hybridization. Okay, so first we will know some of the features of the hybridization. After knowing about this one, I will show you how the hybridization will takes place and what are the type of hybridization. Okay, so first feature of hybridization, it is the number of hybrid orbital is equal to the number of atomic orbitals getting hybridized. Okay, second thing, the hybridized orbital are always equivalent in the energy and shape. Whatever the orbital is going to hybridize, like S or S is going to hybridize, so they should be having the same energy. It is not like that one S or a 4S is going to hybridize. It should be means it is to be means same. Okay, next, and the energy and shape should both should be same, like we cannot intermix s orbital and px orbital. Here the intermixing will be takes place whenever they are having same shape. Next, the hybrid orbital are more effective in forming stable bond than the pure atomic orbitals. Next, hybridization indicate the geometry of the molecule. So these are few of the features. So now we will discuss about the conditions of hybridization. What are the conditions that we people have to follow for the hybridization? The orbital present in the valence shell of the atom are hybridized. Second, the orbital undergoing hybridization should have almost equal energy. Third, promotion of electron is not an essential condition prior to hybridization. Fourth, it is not necessary that only half filled orbital participate in the hybridization. It means that if we are having empty orbital also, then also it can take part, or sometime it may also happen if they are having fully filled orbital. So because to complete, or it has more energy, then the fully filled orbital will jump from one to another, and then the hybridization is going to show. In some cases, even filled orbital of valence shell take part in hybridization. See, this only I just told you about. So these are the some conditions. Now let's discuss about the types of hybridization. So there are many different type of hybridization depending upon the type of orbital intermix, such as if we are having intermixing between s and p, so they are going to show sp, sp2, sp3, or if we are having intermixing between sp and d, then they are going to show sp3d, sp3d2. These two related to d you people have to do for this class. We are having many more hybridization orbital, but we have till this much only in this class. Okay, so let's discuss various type of hybridization along with their example. First, we will be having sp hybridization. See, for sp hybridization, what we have to discuss, let's have some example for sp hybridization. Wait a moment, I will tell you about the sp hybridization. Now see, in this sp type of hybridization, what happened? Okay, sp hybridization is also called as diagonal hybridization. Okay, so in this, when one s and one p orbital belonging to the same main shell of an atom mix together, then they form two new equivalent orbital, and this type of hybridization is called to be as sp hybridization or diagonal hybridization. So here the new orbital are called sp hybrid orbital. Here we are having some examples of this one, like BeCl2. When we are having means beryllium, it is taken at the center and chlorine it is present at the sidewise. Here they are having one bond with one chlorine and another bond with another chlorine. So because of the two bond present, it shows sp hybridization. Like that also you can calculate. Here a few compounds in which sp hybridization is involved, that is BeH2, BeF2, and all compounds of carbon containing triple bond with carbon, that is also having sp hybridization, that is acetylene. It is also an example of sp hybridization. Okay, next we are having, see, this is for sp hybridization. Here we have beryllium chloride. Beryllium is present at the center and chlorine is present sidewise. Here chlorine means, when we see the electronic configuration of chlorine, it is what? It is 2s2, 1s2, 2s2 and 2p5. 2p5 means Z is having only one orbital. It means Z is going to take part. That's why here the bond is formed, which is means sigma bond is going to form, and the bond, single bond is going to form between these. That is sp hybridization. Okay, next we have sp2 hybridization. Sp2 hybridization, that is also called as trigonal hybridization. So here it is formed when one s and two p orbital of the same shell of an atom mix together to form three new equivalent orbital. This type of hybridization is called to be as sp2 hybridization or trigonal hybridization, and the new orbital are formed, it is called as sp2 hybrid orbital. So here all the three hybrid orbital remain in the same plane, making an angle of 120 degree. Look at the structure. See, here they are present in the same plane, and the angle between this is 120 degree with one another. Okay, so each of the hybrid orbital formed has one third s character. Here whenever it is asked what are s character, how do we calculate s character? Like we know acidity, sometime these hybridization will also help us to know the acidic character of any of the molecule. So here the more will be the s character, more will be the acidic nature. So because if we are talking about sp, so s is going to show 50% of its character and p is going to show 50% of its character. It means both are same. So here it is more acidic. But if we will be talking about sp2, so here each is going to show 33%, means s is going to show 33% of its character and p is going to show 67% of its character, isn't it? So here means because we have 2p, px and py is going to take part. So because of this one, p is going to show more character as compared to the x. So it is not as much acidic as earlier one. Okay, so few compound in which sp2 hybridization takes place are bf3, bh3, etc., and all compounds of carbon containing double bond, it also show sp2 hybridization. Now let's have sp3 hybridization. So this sp3 hybridization is also called to be as tetrahedral hybridization. It is formed when one s and 3p orbital belonging to the same shell, same shell, always keep in mind same shell, because different shell they are having different energy, and because we know that for the hybridization the condition is that the energy should be equal, or little bit difference of energy will be taken, but more difference cannot be accepted. Okay, so orbital belonging to the same shell of an atom mixed together to form four new equivalent orbital. This type of hybridization is called to be as sp3 or tetrahedral hybridization. Okay, so again here look at the structure. Here because s and p3, it means s is going to show 25% of its character and p is going to show 75% of its character. Okay, so the four sp3 hybrid orbitals so formed are directed towards the four corner to the tetrahedron. Look at the structure. Like if we will be talking about methane, that is CH4, it show sp3 hybridization, because here we are having single bond, carbon is single bonded with hydrogen. Okay, so few compounds that we are having in which sp3 hybridization are methane, then we have ethane, etc. All the compounds of carbon containing carbon and carbon single bond. Okay, so these are called to be these are going to show sp3 hybridization. Here we have many more example for this one. This is for ammonia. Like here, if we are talking about ammonia, here see, if nitrogen is present at the center and three bond is going to mix with, they are involved in making bonding with hydrogen, it is having only three means bond, so it should show sp2 hybridization. But here, because we have one lone pair of electron is also present, isn't it? So because of the presence of lone pair, it is also counted as a bond, so it also shows sp3 hybridization. This type of question will surely be asked, that why nh3 is going to show sp3 hybridization though it is form only 3 bond. Okay, for H2O also, H2 is also going to have the same sp3 hybridization. Why H2 is having sp3 hybridization? Because whenever we are seeing the structure of this one oxygen, it is having two lone pair of electron, isn't it? So these two lone pairs also taken as a bond, and lone pair, so because of this one also, it also shows sp3 hybridization. So always remember students, whenever you are some of the molecules will be given to you and it is asked what is the hybridization of this one, so you have to take out the hybridization. So always you have to count the number of bond and also whatever the number of lone pair present, because lone pair is also show one bond. Okay, so with by taking this lone pair, because see, in case of H2 we are having only two bond. One oxygen is means oxygen is linked with one hydrogen, and another side also it is having one bond with another hydrogen. It has only two bond, so it should show only sp hybridization. But due to the presence of two lone pair of electron, they are going to show sp3 hybridization. So always you have to count the number of lone pair also which is present. Now next we are having hybridization involving d orbital. Here, as we know, hybridization will takes place when s, p and d, they all are going to merge with each other. Okay, so this one will be shown by d orbital also. So what type of hybridization they are going to show, that we will be discussing, that the participation of d orbital in hybridization can takes place when d orbital are lying vacant or partially filled. As in p orbital of the outermost shell can use d orbital of the outer shell, as well as d orbital of the lower shell for hybridization, depending on the nature of the molecule. How does the hybridization takes place between sp and d? So we know that there are some element which have the ability to expand itself. Why? Because of the presence of d orbital. They are having d orbital, that's why they can expand itself, and the electron which is present in the p, they have the ability to jump from p to go to the d orbital, and they are going to show the hybridization also. So what type of hybridization these may be, that I will show you with the help of some examples. See, sp3 hybridization. Here, if we are having uh, one orbital of s, three orbital of p and one orbital of d, they are going to take part. So here the hybridization, it means one electron from the p is going to jump from p to z, and they are going to show sp3 hybridization. Like here we are having example, I think example, yes, these are the examples. See, phosphorus pentachloride. If we will be talking about phosphorus pentachloride, so here phosphorus is taken as the central metal, isn't it? And chlorine is present along with the phosphorus. So first we have to see the electronic configuration of phosphorus. Atomic number of phosphorus is what? 15, because phosphorus is present just below nitrogen. So it is 15. So electronic configuration of this one is like 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. It means 1s and 2s, they are not going to take part in the hybridization because they are already filled. So 3s and 3p is going to take part. We know that in 3 we are having d orbital also. 3s, 3p and 3d. Though d do not have any of the electron present, then also d is the part of third shell. That's why we have to show d orbital also. So look at p. Whenever these p the electron are present on the ground state. What do you mean by ground state? That is the accurate form. Wherever they are present, that is called as the ground state. So when we will do the configuration, 3s is having 2 electron and 3p is having 3 electron on that, and d is totally vacant. But on the excited state, what will happen? In the excited state, one electron is going to get more energy and it will jump from its shell to another shell. Means the electron from the s is going to jump to the d shell. Okay, because they belongs to the same shell, so they will have the same energy. Only the little difference in the energy is there. So because 3 is having the ability to jump from 3s to 3d because they belongs to the same shell. So here all these are having half filled orbital. Okay, so because of the presence of half filled orbital, they all are involved in the hybridization. Thus here to complete its octet, because 3s is also having one electron, 3p is also having one electron, and 3d is having one electron. So because of the presence of one electron in all the 5 orbital, they all 5 are going to take part. Rest 4s are totally empty. So empty orbital do not take part in the hybridization. Thus S1s, 3p and 1d is going to take part. So 5 chlorine is needed because chlorine is going to give one of its electron, isn't it? Because chlorine is having one electron in its outermost shell, so chlorine is going to give one electron. So that's why we need 5 chlorine, because all the 5 chlorine is give one to all the 5 orbital, and then they intermix with one another and formation of or overlapping of atomic orbital takes place. Thus the hybridization, this one is going to show, that is sp3d hybridization. Okay, and the example of this one is PCl5, because here we have one phosphorus and 5 chlorine is there to make it complete. Okay, that is about the sp3d hybridization. This is the structure for phosphorus pentachloride that we have discussed in the previous class. How do we make the structure? These two bond which is above and below is called to be as equatorial bond. Equatorial bond is always be these two bond which is present above and below is called to be as axial bond. This is always greater than that of equatorial bond. Next we have sp3d2 hybridization. Here is an example of sp3d2 hybridization. It means that is SF6. Okay, so SF6, again we are having S at the center and F it is present along with or side by side with sulfur. So once again when we see the electronic configuration of sulfur, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p4. Once again 1s and 2s is fully filled, that's why 1s and 2s do not take part in the bonding. Here 3s and 3p, again we are having d orbital for third shell, that's why we also have to show 3d. So 3s is fully filled, 3p is one orbital is completely filled and two orbital is half filled. So one electron from the s and one electron from the 3p is going to jump from their own shell to d. That's why 2 orbital of d is also having one electron on that. So here the hybridization of this one will be sp3 and d2. Okay, and because here we are having 6 half filled orbital, that's why it needs 6 fluorine to make it complete. That's why here the example of this one is SF6 and the hybridization of this one will be sp3d2 hybridization, and the structure of this one is octahedral. See, this is the structure, this is the geometry, it is octahedral structure. These all thing, if it is asked that show the sp3 hybridization with example and with structure, because this type of question will be asked for 3 marks, then everything you have to show. You have to show the electronic configuration, their ground state, their excited state, how the electron is going to fill, what are the example of this one, and what will be the geometry. These all things you people have to show, then only you will going to get the full marks. Okay, otherwise if you are not writing about all these, simply if you will be writing that octahedral without drawing the diagram, without showing the hybridization, without showing excited or ground state, then you will not get full mark. Though you are knowing everything, but you are not represented this one. You have to represent everything that is asked. Okay, then only you are going to get full marks. So these are all about the hybridization, that is SPD hybridization. We have these type of hybridization, that is SP, SP2, SP3, SP3D and SP3D2 hybridization. So student, this hybridization is very important topic, very very important topic. This will surely be asked, some question will surely be asked from this section. It is also very important for class 12th, and few question will also be asked from this section in your competitive exam. So kindly please go through that, this hybridization, all the type of hybridization, all the structure that is formed because of the hybridization, what is ground state, what is excited state, what are the example of different type of hybridization. These things you people have to know. Okay, so for today we have this much only, students. In the next class I will try to finish this chapter, because before the half-yearly examination I have to complete 6 chapter at least. So please, if you will be getting any doubt, then kindly please contact me. I will explain these all things once again to you people. Thank you so much for hearing me.